There are more women volunteering than there are men. There are more women working in the nonprofit sector now and heads of family foundations and often giving programs for their families, initiating donor-advised funds as well. And so what we're seeing is there is a difference in the way that men and women see philanthropy and give. If you give a man and a woman each $10,000, the woman will give it to twice as many groups. It isn't just that she doesn't like saying no to groups, it's that she loves those relationships and likes to learn in a variety of communities and be part of them. Men are sometimes much more efficient. They think of an investment in a nonprofit as being something that's a reflection sometimes of their business. They'd rather give, two $5,000 gifts or one $10,000 for bigger bang for the buck, if you will. And together we make a whole world by these different approaches. In a similar fashion, I think men sometimes choose to be efficient with their time, whereas women want to build relationships a little bit more, study organizations and organizational culture in a different way, and that also reflects some of our changes in the way that we are in society too. Women so often in their families are the money mentors for their families, who are the ones who often convene our families on critical moments of transition in our families. We're the ones who sometimes share good and bad news and say, hey, we really need to get everyone together. So that idea of transmitting, the good news about philanthropy or about the values that we as a family have that we want to be able to transmit to each other, but also out in the community is very, very important. So having a giving plan, beginning to think through how we're being intentional with our service and our time can start at a very, very young age in families and go all the way into people's 80s and 90s. We can give that message to the older generation as well, that getting connected to community and being out in community is a lifelong journey and something that we shouldn't be sticking at home if we can get out and be in community. I think one of the most important things for younger women to really consider is who is around you that might be a mentor? Who's someone you seem to admire or who you think has their money stuff together or who maybe is on a nonprofit board or may have started a nonprofit organization? And they may be 3 years ahead of you. They may be younger than you. They may be 10 or 20 years or 50 years older than you. So the importance of being able to say, I need mentorship. I actually need someone who could be a coach for me and can be somebody or a circle of people who can guide me. Oftentimes I think if we volunteer, the important thing to think about is not only the issue and whether the issue is of interest to you, but also, is this a learning environment where you're going to learn from others? Do you respect the people that are there? Is this the next step of your learning? And I think choosing nonprofits to work with or volunteer or be an intern with, one of the key things to consider is, what do I want to learn? And are there leaders there that I can take out to lunch or periodically have some conversation with and say, hey, what's your story? How did you get where you are? I'm interested in being able to take my next step. Can you give me some guidance and advice?